Hey everyone, how y'all doing today? So let's get right into this. So the name of this video is if you're going to protect something, you should be willing to die for it. If you're willing to protect something or someone, you should be willing to die for it. There was an incident that happened over the weekend where a young lady was assaulted on her job by a male. He grabbed her by the shirt, tried to pull her over the counter, and there were some males there. There was a supervisor there. There were a lot of things that could have been done differently in this situation, from the beginning to the middle to the end. I believe that ultimately the guy was arrested. I believe that the young lady was fired, which I don't think that that was warranted at all. It's probably just some PR stunt, some PR thing or whatever the case may be, but for visual. But there was a lot of uneasiness, and people were upset, especially with the women, that felt like the men that were around should have done something to protect this young lady. Like, why didn't they jump in and whip this guy's ass? Why didn't they, drag him through the store? He was attacking a woman. And I talked to a few people and got some feedback about how they felt about it and stuff like that. Um, and here is my here are my thoughts about the situation. I think that when you put yourself in a situation to protect, a man is supposed to provide and protect his woman. Um, that is what we were designed to do by the Most High. I firmly believe that. My father, he has always provided and protected my mother. He's always provided for us. We've never had a want or need in any of those areas, whether it's providing or protecting. At the end of the day, I think that a job for as a man is to make sure that you come home at the end of the day to your family. I think that in every situation, you know, is unique. Every situation is unique, and the feeling of entitlement that some women have, that a man should just come in, and if you see a woman that's being beat down or something like that, you should jump in. If a man were to jump into a situation like that, you better be willing and you better be ready to lay down your life for this woman. You know what I mean? There's a lot to think about women when it comes down to jumping in and protecting and making sure that the women have and feel protected, especially a woman that you may not necessarily be directly attached to. It's really a catch-22, because I think naturally, in most cases, you would want to jump in and help and be of some assistance in a situation like that, either to try to diffuse the situation. But in these days and time, people are crazy, and you jump into the middle of a situation like that, you don't know what's in the mind of people. And as I stated earlier, my goal is to get home to my family. Now, what I would have done is I definitely would have called the authorities. I would have let him know that, hey, I'm calling the authorities. You need to stop. You need to, let that young lady go. Stuff like that. Just letting him know. But to jump in the middle of something like that and possibly lose my life, for protecting someone, is that really the goal? So is it that the woman's life is more valuable than the man? You know what I mean? I mean, and like I said, I get it. It's really a catch-22 when you look at the whole situation, because in this case, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You know, if you jump in and you whip this guy's ass, you're a hero in a sense, but you could possibly go to jail. It's still going to be a lose-lose for the guy. Um, Also, if you jump in and you get shot, your family has to be without you. Your children are going to be raised without you. Um, and it's just a sticky situation. You know what I mean? And like I said, I think that at the end of the day, everyone wants to get home to their family. And when you get involved in a situation like that and you're expected to jump in any situation when you see a woman that's being violated in a sense like in a case like that, like I said, there are some times when you try to jump in and protect a woman in a case like that and she turns on you. Hell, she may have a knife and stab the shit out of you and you just jumped in trying to help her, but we're supposed to jump in and protect and provide protection for the women in our community. But are you willing to die for that? You know, we have the people in the armed forces, soldiers in the armed forces, when they sign that contract to say that, hey, I'm going to give Uncle Sam or give the government, however many years that they sign up for. It doesn't matter if you're pushing paper. It doesn't matter if you're pushing a broom. When it all comes down to it, if they need you out there on that field, you have signed up that, you know what, I'm here to protect my family. I'm here to protect this country, no matter what, life, limbs, and all. So when you jump in front of that situation, when you get involved in that situation, that domestic dispute between that man and that woman, you got to be willing to say, hey, I don't know what this guy's thinking. I don't know what this girl's thinking. I don't know what this situation is. And sometimes all we see is that, oh man, this guy's beating this girl. And again, I'm not condoning any of this, but a lot of times you have to understand that, people have a lot to lose. I could lose my life just as well as she could lose hers. Like I said earlier in the video, if I were to jump in, let's say this guy, I jump in and, he decides to pull his gun and shoot me. Was it worth all of that? Was it worth, my mother, wife, children, aunts, uncles, whoever you have in your life that you're attached to? Is it worth these people getting that phone call that, hey, he tried to be a good Samaritan. There was a young lady that was being beat up and, she was being threatened and the guy had her pinned down, but he jumped in. Unfortunately, he was killed in the process, but the young lady's okay. She's good to go. She's going to live. Is that any kind of solace or comfort for that family that just lost the family member? Is that going to replace the person that, you know what I'm saying? So it's really a catch-22. And I really wish that when people say these, when people put stuff out there like this, that, all men, y'all should come in and protect the women. I feel like my duty is to protect my home. And you know what? And it was brought to me today. They said, well, what if it was your daughter or your mother or, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever the case may be? I said, you know what? Call the authorities. Call the authorities. Let them handle it. Maybe I sound cold. Maybe I sound heartless, but, maybe I sound insensitive. I don't know. I don't even know what to call it, but I would say, hey, I don't want anyone to do something that I wouldn't do. You know what I mean? And I don't think that it makes me any less of a man. This is just my opinion. But to me, my goal at the end of the day is to get back home to my family. Are you willing to die for whatever it is that you're protecting? Are you willing to put yourself in a situation where you can lose your life, possibly, because this is the climate that we're in? We look at the guy that was in Florida. Make a long story short, a few months ago, he went into the store. His girlfriend parked in the handicapped spot. She has an altercation with the guy. She gets out of the car, has an altercation with the guy. Boyfriend comes out of the store, sees the girl arguing with the guy, pushes the guy. Guy takes out the gun, boom, shoots him. Now he's defending his woman, right? But these are things that can happen. Things happen just that quick, when you're trying to defend your woman, or defend women, and again, I do think that is a honorable thing to do. I think that you should do it, but I'm not sure that I'm willing to put my life on the line like that for a stranger. You know what I'm saying? And I'm unapologetic about that. I think that it's a catch-22, and it's easy for someone to say what they would do, or a woman to say, hey, you know what, man, well, you're this and you're that and you're third. But, there's a lot to think about. There's a lot to think about when you in a situation like that. So give me your feedback. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, this one was a little difficult to try to do because I wanted to really give some clarity on the situation from uh, a different perspective, if you will. But it is what it is, man. Are you willing to die for what you're going to protect? If you're going to jump in and protect that woman, no matter what the situation is, are you willing to give your life? Because again, anything can happen at any time. Is it not enough that you just call the authorities? It's just some food for thought, man. I mean, because there's always more than one side to the coin, you know. And I think that sometimes people are not always and looking at the whole picture. And like I said, I've been having this conversation with people, and today to see, to get the pulse. It's been on social media and stuff like that, and my perspective may not be the most popular, but I think it is some food for thought, at least. You know, it's a food for thought. So, like, share, subscribe, dislike, share, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, I think it's definitely a conversation that we need to have as a community, um, and to shed some light on this and really bring it home and really look at all aspects of it, looking at it from a man's point of view, looking at it from the woman's point of view, because I think that everyone has an opinion on this in this situation. So let's talk about it. Y'all have a good day, and remember to always live above your trials, tribulations, all the things that you're going through in your life. There's nothing that bad the way you can't see your way through. Persevere, be vigilant, and we'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.